Hey there, YouTube. It's Saturday, October 27th here, and I figured now's a good time to kind of touch a little bit about the background that I have in poker. Like many, I started in the early 2000s when a friend of mine introduced me to the game, and I immediately fell in love with it. I think a big part of it was because I've always been pretty competitive in the different sports I've played, like basketball and tennis. I had some aspirations to be a pro in those particular sports, but I think certain physical attributes um, and skills probably prevented that from happening. And so I found poker at a really unique time where I still had a pretty strong competitive drive and wanting to find, something in the sport activity realm that you can essentially be a pro at. And when I started playing the game, I had a natural talent for it, which definitely increased my affinity to want to get better over the years. And it was in the mid 2000s that poker was actually my primary form of income for when I was attending college, both on the peninsula and in San Jose. And it really helped me pay for my tuition and my housing. And in the late 2000s, when I graduated from college, I had definitely many considerations, even over the years, more recently, to turn poker into a professional career. But I've always been raised with a pretty conservative background, I guess you can say, and so I've always opted for kind of the more stable and traditional type career path. So that's kind of where I'm at today. Over the years, I've still been pretty passionate about poker, and I think in the last year and a half, that passion has kicked up quite a bit. I've been doing a decent amount of work on my game. I think with the evolution of game theory optimal or GTO or a math-based kind of style being pretty prevalent the last few years in the poker industry and community. And also a big topic is GTO better or is an exploitative style better? And I think a lot of people are actually saying nowadays that it's a merge of the two, right? So I think that has really sparked some additional interest in wanting to get better and explore the game on a deeper level. And the other thing that I've added in the last year and a half is also improving the mindset part of the game. I think psychology plays a tremendously large role in wanting to be a successful poker player. And so I think it's definitely something that if you're investing time in your strategic game, you should also be investing time and resource in your mental game. Yeah, so I think the main reason for starting this vlog, and without trying to get overly deep or philosophical about it, I've been in this kind of improve yourself type of mindset for a little while, with the goal of that transitioning into really being better for the people around you in your immediate community. And so I think the reason I started this particular vlog and poker is because I'm passionate about poker, and I'm also passionate about wanting to be a better person so that I can help my community, however big or small that is. And so, if you can get one thing out of the channel, it would be at least one of three things, and I would consider it to be then a successful kind of project that we're working on. It's one, if you find the content either educational or helpful in some way. Two, if you find it entertaining or enjoyable. And the last one's big. I think it's if you can find a way to maybe draw some inspiration or some positive kind of thought-provoking thoughts, I think is a big one for me to kind of share with you all. And I really hope that it does come across in that sense, because as an introvert myself, doing this entire project is completely out of my comfort zone, but it's been great so far. And so I definitely want to try to use this kind of avenue and this canvas, if you will, to kind of tell you a little bit about my story, and hopefully it's an opportunity for you to kind of look at yourselves in the mirror and maybe try something different that you've been thinking about, that you may have some trepidation around, and really kind of just pursue your goals. I think there's nothing wrong with giving something a shot if you have some passion about it and seeing where it goes. And so those are the main reasons. If you can take all three of those things with you from watching some of this content, that'd be great. But even if you just take one of them, I think it'll be a really good kind of success. And I do want to take a moment to say thank you to everyone so far some of the comments and the people reaching out have been totally great, and some of which, the people I know in my close community, but there's also been a lot of people who I don't know, and you guys are subscribing and making comments, and so I really appreciate that, and I hope to continue to grow the channel and to continue to grow with all of you as part of that community. All right, so that's the background and the goals related to poker and the reasoning for the vlog. Let's go ahead and transition to the actual vlog number 3. We're going to be doing this one in San Jose, California for a tournament at the Bay 101 property. So let's go ahead and hop on what I think is the best freeway in the Bay Area, 280. All right, good morning, everyone. It might not be morning when you're watching this, but it is Sunday, October 21st. We are down in the South Bay here in San Jose at the Bay 101 Casino. There's an $1,100 buy-in tournament today. It's part of their Fall Classic series, and this is going to be the main event. It has 2 starting days. Day 1A was yesterday. Day 1B is today. So we're going to hop in there, put in a buy-in at the tournament. A few things to share. Unlike the previous vlog at Lucky Chances, I don't visit this property too often, so I'm not as familiar with the different promotions and things like that they may have here. I do know that they don't have a bad beat jackpot here, but aside from that, I don't have too much to share other than the fact that I know they used to hold a World Poker Tour event at the Bay 101. It was a pretty popular event as well. It was the Shooting Star event where the pros would have a bounty, and so if you knocked them out, you'd get a certain amount there. It looks like that came off the schedule for 2018, and so we'll see if that comes back at some point. I think because WPT does make a stop in Thunder Valley now for kind of Northern California area, I think that might kind of take over the former Shooting Star kind of stop. But only time will tell. We'll see. The other thing to mention is that Bay 101 did go through a pretty large remodel and relocation. I think they did it about a year ago. So they used to kind of be down the block here, and they've really kind of built this new facility, this new property with a much more modern look and feel. Definitely feels a little bit like Vegas when you walk in. I'll try to capture some footage here. The staff is quite strict, as to be expected as it relates to filming. So I'll do my best to try to capture some footage. And then, yeah, like I said, we'll try to run it up in the tournament and see how things go. All right, we've made our way over to the bar here. 2 interesting hands of note to share from the tournament. First is we're playing 200-400 with the 400 big blind ante. There's 2 limpers, and then it folds to me in the cutoff, and I have pocket 10s, and I make it 1800 to go. And only one of the limpers makes the call. So we go heads up to a flop of 5 of clubs, 8 of diamonds, king of clubs. He checks, and I make a continuation bet of 1300, and he makes the call. The turn brings another 8. It's the 8 of hearts, I believe. And then it goes check, check. And then the river brings in another king. So king, king, 8, 8, 5. And he goes ahead and leads for 4K. I don't think too long, and then I make the call. And he shows us ace 5 of hearts. And so our pocket 10s are good. All right, this next hand to share is unfortunately the last hand to share from the tournament. It folds to me in the cutoff, and I have the best starting hand you could have, pocket aces. We're playing 300, 600 with a 600 big blind ante. So I go ahead and make it 1,500. The button then 3-bets it to 4,500. I think for a little bit, and then I go ahead and put another raise. This time I make it 10,500. We both have pretty much the exact same amount of chips. Effective stack size about 38,000. He thinks for a little bit, takes a peek at my stack, and he goes ahead and jams it all in. So I of course make the call. He turns over ace king, and unfortunately the board runs out king 8-8, king, queen. So he makes a full house, and that puts an end to our tournament. All right, so this unfortunately cuts our tournament a bit short of hopes and expectations. But as I mentioned in my first vlog there, tournaments are tough. There's a lot of variance that happens in poker tournaments. Sometimes you get it in good, it holds up. Sometimes you get it in bad, and then you run good. So I think anybody who's done well in tournaments, or even cash games for that matter, will acknowledge that you need a decent amount of run good to, especially in tournaments. It wasn't there for me today. Aside from that, I do think I played pretty well, A game wise. And I think that's really all you can take away from these kinds of situations. Is it a little discouraging? Absolutely. But I think if you continue to put in the work and you stay focused at the tables, eventually some results will come, I think. But yeah, that closes off our visit here to the Bay 101 property. Definitely we'll be back at some point, most likely for tournaments. Because I live in San Francisco, it's a little bit of a drive to get to San Jose. And when I do come to San Jose, I actually prefer to play at a different property, which is actually a block down at Casino Matrix. So at some point, we're definitely going to take this video there. But if you've not been to Bay 101 before, I certainly recommend this property. They got pretty good food. Parking is pretty good as well. The staff is super on point, from dealers to floor staff to service staff. And so definitely make your way out here if you're in the area, or if you wish to put in some time at the tables at Bay 101. So I will catch you guys and gals on the next vlog, and we'll try to see if we can run it up on the next one. But until then, good luck to you all at the tables, and thanks for watching.